You're the kind of guy who doesn't want to spend too much time mucking about with the game. You just want to get down to the nitty-gritty and get down to playing the game. So what are all the important things that you have to do in the game of Football Manager? It's probably no surprise that people are probably a bit daunted by the sheer amount of things that you seem to have to do in the game. Well, on today's show, I'm going to break things down into the things that you have to do, those that you probably can ignore, and those that you probably only have to do once. My name is Delegate. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the channel. Here I do content on the game Football Manager. I also stream 3 times a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays on Delegate's Moments. You also find me streaming on Twitch on Tuesdays and Saturdays where I play Fantasy Draft. You're more than welcome to join me. Now, before I begin, I want to shout out to all my friends in Malaysia. Basically everywhere that's been struck by flooding. I hope you guys are staying safe and taking care of yourselves. And there are lots of people trying to help in every single way possible, and don't feel that you're alone. Please shout out if you need any help. Today's show is dedicated to the guys out there who want to speed up the game of Football Manager. I've heard the call. You've asked me to basically break down the game into the necessary things one has to do, the unnecessary things that we can just ignore, and those things that I only seem to do once. And yes, we're gonna break all this down really quickly. Right at the start of the game, you'll be bombarded with some information. Then you'll be asked whether you want to schedule a press conference, do an intra-squad friendly, and arrange a meeting with your backroom staff. I've tended to skip all of this because this is definitely unnecessary. There is no downside to skipping the press conference, and there's definitely no downside to not even playing an intra-squad friendly. You want to meet your players and get to know your players, there's going to be plenty of chance during your preseason friendlies. One of the very first things you want to do in the game of Football Manager is make sure that you got the right kind of coaches. So you're going to have the right number and the right kind of coaches. Once you've done that, distribute your coaches accordingly. We still need to get one more goalkeeping coach here. Once we've gotten the goalkeeping coach, we should be fine. The workload should all be light, right, as far as possible. If you find that your workload is still a bit heavy, what you want to do is you want to find a coach that you can ask him to cover as many areas of responsibility as possible so that the workload becomes light. Once you've hired all the coaches, you don't need to do this again because you'll only need to hire another coach if your coaches get poached. The next thing you want to do is you want to go to staff responsibilities. Staff, go down to general. This page, you can leave it as it is. You want to go down to contracts. You want to delegate as much as possible. So that once you've hired the staff, when it comes to the renewal of their contracts, just delegate this. So every time you need to renew their contracts, they won't come to you anymore. They will go to the person that you've delegated them to. Staying on staff responsibilities, the second thing that you do, make sure you handle assigning scouts yourself. What you want to do is you want to set up scouting assignments by region. You want to make sure that it's set to a region. I like to set up a filter for natural fitness and determination to basically get me better quality youngsters, as well as scouter potential that's at least good, and an age range between 15 to 19, because I am the kind of guy that wants to look for new gens. Now, the duration should be ongoing, so your scout is actually left there to scout that region, and you'll keep churning out these reports. And I only do this once, and I will go through and set up multiple regions with that purpose. Apart from needing a scout to scout the next opposition and a performance analyst to analyze the next opposition, I always have at least one scout free. That one scout is going to be given ad hoc scouting assignments. If a team I play has a player that's performing really well, I might want to scout that player, and this is the scout I will send. Even when I'm doing lower league management, I set it up the same way. If it's regional, I'll have one scout free, or I might not even have enough scouts, but I'll always do it exactly the same way if I'm looking for new gens. When it comes to staff responsibilities, transfers, and contracts, this is another area that I love to save time with. I do this only once and I never touch it again. The more important thing is to make sure that you're finalizing the player sales for any of these players. They can be players in the under 23s, or they can be players in the senior team. I will leave the initiating of player sales to other members of the staff, And if I disagree with them, sometimes I'll just offload the player myself. But I find that this is much more efficient. I save a lot of time during the game and I can focus on other things. Unless you're the sort who loves to spend time talking to the media, this is one part of the game I delegate without any thought. Training is relatively easy. Like, do it yourself, because that's going to lead to the best development of your players. If you leave it to the AI, I wouldn't recommend it, because you're going to find your players don't finish the season strong enough. So you generally want to lead your general training for your main team and of course your youth team, because you want to guide their development. Now here things get a bit interesting, because if you leave this delegated, right, the youth team, you can actually go to the youth team development center and you can actually choose the tactic that you want them to play. Now this is assuming there are 2 tactics slotted into the main team's tactical slots. So when you're in here, you can actually choose the tactic. Now I would recommend choosing a tactic first. So once you've chosen the tactic, you go to the staff responsibilities, you go to training, and you can at this point take control, because you want to choose the roles and duties for your youth team players as well. You wanna have a bit of a hands-on experience with them. Once you've done this, you'll notice that if you go to your youth team and you try to change their tactics, you won't be able to anymore. This is important to understand, because this is going to be locked into the choice that you made earlier, because you won't be able to choose a second tactic anymore. So what you want to do at the start of the game is you want to make sure that when you set up your staff responsibilities, you've already set up the youth team tactic that you want the team to use. If for any time of the season you feel, man, I want them to play a different tactic, all you gotta do is come in here, lock this in, then go to your staff responsibilities again, go to training. You can take over the training one more time. If you go to the under 18s tactics page, you'll see they're using the tactic you had done. It's a bit of a roundabout method. It's a pain in the ass, but you only need to do this once and you don't have to do this again. Why is this important? You only need to do this once because you can set your youth team to play a specific tactic to aid in the development. Perhaps you're the kind of coach that wants to play a 4-3-3 in the long run with your main team, but your main team isn't ready to play a 4-3-3, but you want your youth team to be trained along those lines. Then all you got to do is make sure you set up the tactic for the youth team, and then you can go and do whatever you want with the main team. Change tactics all you like. The youth team is still using that 4-3-3. Now we come to a really cool option under responsibilities match. This sets your unfit first team players who are in need of match sharpness automatically to the under 23 squad. The way to do this is really simple. If you are playing a game on Saturday, on Thursday, pick your starting 11 for Saturday. That group is your match squad. So if for any of the other players who are not involved, they will be made available for the under 23 squad. You don't have to worry about this anymore. Now I'm going to deal with the features of the game that I either skip or don't pay attention to. Right at the top of the list, the weekly staff meeting. For me, it never happens. I come down here to the meeting frequency and I set the option to never. The very first meeting I'm asked to attend, I'll go in and I'll walk out straight away. I end the meeting immediately. And then we come to one of my favorite fun things not to do, the squad dynamics induction. Introduce yourself to the squad. Yes, I'm here. Yep, done. Okay. Done. Okay. This is exactly what I want to see. What the hell just happened? I don't know, man. He just clicked everything. Look, guys, it's not going to be the end of the day if you say the wrong thing. This game is not been done in such a way that you screw things up. Let's go to staff responsibilities. I've just been told I need to go and meet the press. Let's go now. Overview. No. Where is the media? Okay, guys. Delegate. Done. I mean, those of you who have been following my live streams have noticed what I do during these squad induction meetings. I never bother. I just play a random game of hit the button and nothing happens. Now we're going to talk about other things, and I'm going to cover these really quickly. Opposition instructions, you only really need to do this once, because if you have a plan based on your tactic, you can set up your opposition instructions to funnel play in a certain direction. That you only need to do once. You don't have to do it as long as you don't change your tactic. What about tactical meetings your assistant manager likes to call for before every single game? Not important, you can skip that. What about player unhappiness? You know, one player wants to have a meeting with you because he wants a new contract. There's a domino effect in this game. If you respond to one player, you're gonna respond to 2, 3, 4. Very soon you'll have the whole team coming to you, knocking on your door. The game isn't that hardcore that you need to respond to every single player's, give them a contract each time they want to play. Look at the situation with Mo Salah at Liverpool, right? He's still playing football. This is what Football Manager is trying to become. They want to try and, you know, depict what the real world is like. So the real world is just the same. If you're going to respond to one player, you're going to have to respond to everybody else. What about training unhappiness? Players are usually going to be unhappy about training. Very few of them are going to be smiling at you when you tell them to do extra sessions. That's because not every single player is got the same personality traits like Cristiano Ronaldo. That's because not every single player in the game has high levels of professionalism and ambition and determination. So what you need to understand is players are going to be unhappy whether you ask them to train more or less. So what do? Do you respond to every single one of them? You don't. You just go ahead and just tell them what to do. At the end of the day, the players are still going to perform for you on the pitch. Whenever developers create games, they're always going to have loads of features that aid immersion. Now, for the game of Football Manager, I find that the only area I need to focus on are scouting reports and the game itself. When I'm playing a match, that's what I focus on. The other parts of the game, they're just features that aid the immersion level. That's it. Now, I might focus a bit more on training because I like to develop my players, and I like to focus a lot more on tactics because I like to play the game. It seems that if you want to get from point A to point B really quickly in the game, there's lots of things you can skip, and you can just, it's not going to harm your game one way or the other. So I hope that you found today's video useful, especially for those of you out there who are a bit daunted with the amount of information that's in the game. Let me know your thoughts on today's video. If you found it useful, share your comments below. I look forward to hearing from you. You guys stay safe and healthy. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.